Good afternoon. My name is Amalia Delianis, and I'm the editor of Plumbing Engineer magazine. We are here again for another episode of PHCPPros Live at the AHR Expo here in Las Vegas. With me this afternoon, I have Mathew Tucci from IPEX USA. Good afternoon, Mathew.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about, can you tell the world a little bit about yourself and what you do at IPEX?
Sure. So, my name is Mathew Tucci. I'm the Market Development Specialist at IPEX. My role involves specifically flue gas venting, and my role involves educating various stakeholders related to venting, whether that is inspectors, it could be installers, it could be design engineers, anybody involved with the product, educating them on certified venting, features and benefits, testing, design and installation best practices, available products in the market, that sort of thing.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about IPEX in general.
Sure. So IPEX is a thermoplastic piping manufacturer. So we manufacture thermoplastic piping systems for a wide variety of applications that can range from municipal piping to electrical conduit piping to industrial, double containment piping, and then of course plumbing and mechanical. So at the show we're showcasing specifically our System 1738 and our System 636 flue gas venting products. So these are certified venting products manufactured to venting standards, and that's part of the education process.
So why is having a certified product so important?
So that's a great question. And the reason is, part of the plumbing products which have been used for quite a long time in the industry, really out of, because there was no alternative. And those are products that IPEX also makes, and we are, quite familiar with those products. Mm-hmm. But they're not certified. And what I mean by certified is they're not tested or manufactured to any standards that have relation to venting, combustion gas.
Okay.
And oftentimes you see premature failures because those products aren't tested and they aren't able to withstand the application. So the benefit of certified products is, you're using a product that's been tested specifically for what it's being used for. Mm-hmm. It comes with product warranty. You have, application specific products such as fittings, mm-hmm. that sort of thing.
Oh, that's wonderful. And so this year at the show, you're focusing again, you said, on your System 1738 and
yes.
System 636.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about each of one of those specifically?
Sure. So System 1738 is a certified PVC system, and it's certified to UL 1738. That system is, dimensionally very similar to plumbing products which have been used in the past. The difference is in the actual PVC compound that we use to extrude the pipe and to mold the fittings.
Okay.
So it took IPEX, quite a long time in research and development and innovation to come up with a compound that was able to pass the rigorous testing requirements, essentially. So the system is available in 2 to 3 and 4 inch, and it's certified to a temperature of 149 degrees.
Okay.
On the other side, we have our system 636C PVC. So this is a very similar standard, but it's the ULC S636 standard, which is a Canadian venting standard.
Okay.
And that standard is similar, but not as stringent. And that product is CPVC, so it's able to handle temperatures up to 194 degrees, so higher temperature applications.
Okay, and how long has the System 1738 and System 636 been out on the market?
So the 1738 system is newer. It's been around, I believe, just over 2 years. The System 636 has been around for quite a long time. We launched that in 2007 or 2008 when the Canadian Building Code changed.
Okay, and how has the market reacted to this product? What kind of feedback have you been getting?
So it's regional. We're seeing different code requirements in different jurisdictions. In jurisdictions that require certified product, the response has been good. And then in other jurisdictions where they don't require it, we still are seeing some interest, especially in contractors who want to, contractors and installers who want to reduce their risk and liability, sleep a little bit easier at night and use a certified product.
Great. And what's the main problem that these products solve?
Great question again. The main problem is a lack of testing and a lack of minimum performance that you can expect from our product. So when you have a product that's certified to a standard, you expect a minimum level of performance because it's been tested. When you use a product that's not intended for the application, such as plumbing products in a venting application, because they're not tested, you have no minimum level of performance. So you have premature failures and you have, really premature failures that result in injury or in things like that. So obviously it wants to be avoided.
Right.
So, again, at the end of the day, you're reducing risk and liability.
Okay, that sounds what we need to do in this world, especially we're in a pretty litigious society, aren't we? Here at the show, let's talk about the show a little bit. You have a booth, right? What's your booth number?
I believe it's 11138.
11138. And
that's in the North Concourse.
In the North Concourse,
yes.
Right. So what new products will you be touting at booth N11138?
So we are showcasing the 1738 PVC, and we also are speaking a little bit about the System 1738C PVC, which is what we're launching hopefully later this year. So that product's in the process of being certified. And when you compare that to the PVC, essentially you have a higher temperature rating, but the same system in terms of dimensions and certification. So that'll be both certified to UL 1738, one for lower temperature applications and one for higher temperature applications. So we're excited about that. We've been looking forward to that.
So it's pretty much a similar product, but higher temperature value.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So one is a PVC. The other is a CPVC, so similar, but different materials. One's able to handle higher temperatures.
Same benefits.
Same benefits, of
Fantastic.
course. Same benefits.
So who would be interested in a product that has such a higher temperature rating?
Well, it might be more commercial applications, more high efficiency boiler applications, whereas the PVC we see more on a residential scale. Tankless water heaters, high efficiency tank water heaters and furnaces. The CPVC is more geared towards commercial applications, the higher temperature applications.
Okay, all right. And I read somewhere that you like to spread the knowledge
Absolutely.
and application knowledge as much as possible.
Yes. So
how do you plan on doing this, like at the show and out to the world?
Yeah, so that's a big portion of what I do. Again, try and educate various stakeholders. So whether that, again, is design engineers or inspectors, who are interested in the product, especially contractors and installers as well. And then tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'm actually giving a presentation called Safeguarding Against the Dangers of Carbon Monoxide. So that's going to be about a 50-minute presentation with some time at the end for questions.
Okay.
And that presentation is going to go over a 101 on certified venting, starting off with what the application is, problems that we see with products that have been used in the past, kind of why those products have been used. We'll break down some of the standards such as UL 1738 and some of the plumbing standards as well.
Okay.
And then we'll get into some of the key performance and material testing associated with UL 1738. So,
all right.
Yeah, it goes into detail and gives an overview of products available in the market.
Okay.
So if anybody is interested, yeah, they should definitely be joining.
So tomorrow you'll be speaking at 2:45 p.m. Vegas time, everyone. But if they are not here and they would like to learn more about your the safeguarding against the carbon monoxide, how do they reach out to you? Who do they talk to?
So they could come by the booth if they're here at the show, or they could visit our website. So our website is www.ipexna.com. So there's lots of information on there that they could reach out to. We'd be happy to help.
And what can PHCPPros expect from your company in 2022? Anything
hopefully
beyond?
Lots of good things.
Yes?
We are looking forward again to the launch of the CPVC system, System 1738. And we're also going to be building a new molding facility just near our Pineville, North Carolina location. So that's going to be, very exciting for us to increase our capacity. There's going to be a big focus on health and safety and sustainability. So we're really looking forward to that as well.
Now, the build out of your new facility, the running of the company in general, how has that been impacted by the pandemic? What do you think has changed the most?
Yeah, so I think we've had to have a big focus on communication with our customers, and there's been supply chain issues, and I think we have to make sure that we are communicating constantly, letting them know what the situation is, because it's changed quite a lot, obviously. So yeah, it's allowed us to develop a good relationship, even closer relationship with our customers, because we've had to communicate and internally and externally.
So in terms of communication, have you developed other platforms, or do you use other platforms to communicate with customers, or is it strictly pick up the phone, talk to them?
It depends. It could be different every day. So yeah, phone, email, but a lot of webinars. If we're not able to go out on site, some of the webinars have some of the webinar softwares have let us reach an audience that maybe wouldn't have otherwise been able to get together to for information and that kind of thing. So it's been interesting. It's been good. Right.
So great. What kind of feedback do you think you've had from your webinars? Do you get any reaction from the participants?
Yeah, it depends on who you're presenting to. So some are more receptive to it.
Yeah.
Some they've seen so many, so maybe it gets a little tired after a while. But no, it's been good overall.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think the show is great. It's great to have everybody back in one place and everybody in person. So
yeah, it's a pretty good vibe out here. There's a lot of people milling about, as we can see. Again, I think if we should tell anyone, I'm speaking with Mathew Tucci from IPEX USA. Thank you very much for being with me this afternoon.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Please feel free to visit Mathew and his team at booth N11138 here at the AHR Expo, or you can visit them again at
www.ipexna.com.
There you go. We will be back in a few minutes, so enjoy the break. And that's it. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Amalia Delianis, and I'm the editor of Plumbing Engineer magazine. Welcome back. We're here again for another episode of PHCPPros live here at the AHR Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. With me this afternoon, I have John Durik from Merit Brass. Hi, John.
Hi, how are you this afternoon?
Good. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes of your time to speak with me this afternoon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at Merit Brass?
Yeah, so I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Merit Brass. I started about 7 years ago.
Okay.
excuse me, 7 months ago.
Oh, 7 months ago. Okay.
But have been in the industry for well over 20 years, and I had an opportunity to join a 85-year company with a tremendous amount of tradition and just a great team and a fun atmosphere. And
Okay.
it was one of those times to transition to a new leadership role with an organization that has a tremendous amount of credibility, and
Yeah.
they just feels like home, so it's been great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And what are your primary responsibilities as Vice President of Sales and Marketing?
So I oversee new product launches, new innovation, technology, the sales budget,
Okay.
of course,
Of
and
course.
working on top line and bottom line growth for the organization, and
All right.
obviously bringing more resources through and making sure people are on the right runway to succeed at Merit Brass.
Great.
So
So tell me a little bit about Merit Brass. What makes Merit Brass so unique?
what makes Merit Brass very unique is they have a rich history.
Okay.
85 years, family owned. We're on the 4th generation now. We're looking to hand the baton to Kevin Lipp and to Kyle Schlesinger, who both graduated college. Kevin about 10 years ago,
Okay.
Kyle about 2 years ago. So,
Okay.
we're seeing a change in the guard, and under the mentorship of Darren Hilliard, who's our new president.
Okay.
And CFO, and certainly it's an exciting time at Merit.
Fantastic.
We're adding resources, one of which is myself, and we went east, central, west with our directors, and we're also hiring more people. So
That's amazing. That's great to hear, especially
a lot of fun.
yes, especially during these times of uncertainty.
Sure.
So
Sure.
what brings you to AHR this year? What are you touting?
Well, we're touting our new press technology.
Fantastic. Could you tell me a little bit about it?
Absolutely. I was hoping you would ask. Right here you're going to see our carbon press technology,
Should we lift that up?
and this is for gas applications.
Okay.
And you're going to notice that there's a band that wraps around the outside diameter of our fittings.
Okay.
And that's our patented breakaway band. So when you crimp that technology,
Okay.
it's going to fall to the ground. So it prevents leaks, and it also prevents human error from missing a crimp.
So you're talking about the internal points right in here?
We're talking about the external point.
This?
That, when you crimp it with our tool, it's going to fall off.
Oh, really?
So then you know it's properly sealed.
Okay.
And we have a successful pipe joining to our fitting.
Fantastic. And how do you test to ensure that it's properly sealed?
So
Like after the fact, if you're
Yeah,
not unsure. If you're a
yeah.
newbie like me,
Oh,
how
yeah.
would you know?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Certainly one of the things we like to tell everyone is once you
Okay.
crimp it, we prefer the Milwaukee tool
Okay.
or a rigid tool. And when you crimp the fitting, it's going to bottom out and you'll hear it pop.
Okay.
So that's how you know it's secure to the fitting,
Okay.
to the pipe.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so this is your carbon press?
This is our carbon press technology, which we're launching in Q2, Q3 this year.
Oh, so it's
It's brand new.
brand new.
And
Fantastic.
we're very excited about it.
Okay.
And we're going to go 1/2 inch to 4 inch on that.
Okay, so you're going to have 4 sizes? Half
gonna have
inch,
4.
1, 2, 3, and 4, right?
Yeah, we're going to go 1/2
Fantastic.
inch, 3/4,
Oh, wow.
1 inch, 1.25 inch, 1.5 2, 2.25, 2.5, 3, and 4.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
So that's for our gas application,
Yes, okay.
and we call it carbon press.
Carbon press.
And then you'll see right here we have our stainless steel press technology with
Okay.
the green bands that wrap around it.
Let's show this to the world.
Yeah.
Stainless steel technology.
Yeah. And those
Okay.
bands represent water. So
Okay.
green is for water, and yellow is going to be for your
Yeah.
gas application.
All right.
So again, human error we try to prevent as much as possible because we're all human. right?
Yes, exactly.
So we're excited, and this is used really in plants, potable water, where aesthetics are important, or there's a corrosive environment.
Okay.
So 316 stainless is what we have right
Okay.
now, and we're really excited to launch that as well. And you can get this today at
Okay.
Merit Brass through our wholesale distribution network.
Okay. So, and are these mainly for commercial settings?
This is
Or
more on the industrial
side, okay.
This is a hybrid commercial.
Okay.
um,
Industrial.
Slight industrial, more commercial, but hybrid.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
And then this is our new bronze-bodied ball valve with
Okay.
CTS copper end connections. And again, you see the green bands. That's our breakaway feature to,
Right.
or you know
See
that
the-
when it
look at
crimps
this
and it
world.
pops off, that it has been crimped successfully to the pipe. So,
Okay.
so it's really exciting. And you know, our bronze ball valve is very secure, which is why we're going with bronze over brass. Bronze is more durable. It's stronger. It's going to last longer.
Yes.
We have a solid ball in there, not a hollow ball like other competitors out there. So you're not going to have any disturbance from a turbulence perspective. And the engineering sound, it's great.
Okay.
And we're just looking for partners out there who are willing to give us a shot and come join Merit Brass.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now, is this new to the market as well, or has this been around for a while?
This has been around for a while. This is new for Merit Brass.
Okay.
The engineered products is new for Merit Brass, and this was one of the things that they brought me and tasked me to do
Okay.
from a sales perspective is
Okay.
help launch new innovative products
All
with
right.
Darren and Kyle and our product line management team and
All
everything
right.
else we got going on. So
So,
yeah.
so you said engineered products are new to Merit Brass. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So Merit Brass is very rich in commodity products, your brass nipples, your stainless steel pipe, your
Right.
3,000-pound pressure fittings. We're now transitioning and maintaining our core book of business, which is what we've always done from a nipple standpoint and also from a brass fittings perspective
Okay.
and piping perspective. And now we're introducing new innovation and technology
Okay.
to Merit Brass, which engineered products is press, it's valves, and it's a few other things we're working on with our product line management team as we speak.
So you're looking on expanding.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes,
pretty
ma'am.
much. So that sounds like a great way to start.
We're
So-
really excited.
So this is coming out in 2022. Will you have any other news or events to showcase in 2022?
Yeah, so we're a part of IMARC AD and the Commonwealth Group as well. So we're heavily vested as partners to our wholesale distribution network out there, and that's where we show our new technology and our new products that are
Okay.
launching. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's great.
we will have this in Q2, Q3 this year.
Okay.
The same with this product, and then this has been launched.
Okay.
Our stainless press has been launched.
Stainless press has been
and our
produced.
copper fitting press line has been launched as well.
Okay.
So
All right.
now we're adding new distribution and we're getting out there, we're doing trainings. And,
Okay.
you know, I love getting out to the project sites, spending time with the contractors out
Right.
there. Our
So-
team is doing that as well, which is exciting. And
Has that changed at all since the pandemic? I mean, how have you
Sure.
educated your customers about these new products?
a lot more has gone online.
Online?
But truth be told, when there's an issue in the field, and there always is,
Right.
or there's a training that needs to happen hands-on,
Right.
you know, you have to go to those project sites. You know, typically it's 6 a.m. in the morning, you know, before everyone is getting ready to go out on the project
Exactly.
site. But certainly it's important to spend time in the field. And that's one of the things our organization takes a lot of pride in is making our calls, spending time with our wholesale distribution network. And also now we're going to be calling on the engineering community to get specified with Merit Brass,
Fantastic.
press technology and valves, and the same remains true for the rest of our portfolio. So it's it's been a lot of fun and it's exciting, as you can
Good.
tell.
Yeah, so it's like, so you've mentioned to me prior to our beginning this conversation that you're 7 months into the company.
7 months in.
So tell us a
Yep.
little bit about your work history and what you hope to bring to Merit Brass.
Yeah. So like many, I started off in wholesale distribution, working for Ferguson Enterprises down in Florida, and they transitioned me up to Washington, D.C., and I spent some time up in D.C., and I had an opportunity to get on the manufacturing side and work for Johnson Controls for about 10 years, and
Okay.
then was able to go to Apollo Valves for 6 years, and
Wow.
had a few different leadership roles there, and naturally this took place to be the sales leader of a tremendous company with a very rich history. So
Great. And
just been grateful to be a part of the PVF industry.
that's wonderful.
Yes.
I guess it's like the problem that these products solve have to deal with knowing that, and maybe you could explain it better than a newbie like myself, is ensuring that it's fitted properly with the technology, correct? So as a supplier, what makes Merit unique?
Really what makes Merit Brass unique is our people.
Okay.
I can't stress that enough. It's our devotion to our customers, it's our people, and it's our history, in which I keep going back to, because so much of your history within an organization is what you are doing for your distribution network. So
Right.
I always think a rich history is very important, and to have a company like Merit Brass with a leadership team that's been in place for a while, to be a part of it is just something that I think separates Merit Brass from some of the other companies that I mentioned earlier.
Right. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. And I guess it's like, how can people access more information about your press offering if they're not at the show today?
Sure. Come to meritbrass.com. You can find all of our new press technology on there, as well as our core book of business, pipe fittings, and everything else that has made us so successful over the past 85 years. And come see us at our booth.
Great.
We're over at C6700.
Fantastic.
And we got Mike Riddle here. He's our new director of the West. And
Okay.
Jason Merkins was just promoted
Okay.
to our new director of the Central. And Steve
Congratulations.
Mercurio is not here.
Okay.
He's in the field spending time with some engineers this week. But yeah, we have a great representation here, and we're just excited to be here. So thank you for this time as well.
Well, thank you for joining
Yeah.
me today and for coming to the show. I mean, what a great way to restart the trade show
Yeah,
in Vegas. Come on now.
Absolutely.
So have a great
Absolutely.
day, and
Thank
thank
you.
you. If we will be back in a couple of minutes, I would like to thank John again for joining me from Merit Brass, everyone, and have a great day. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Amalia Delianis, and I'm the editor of Plumbing Engineer magazine. We are here again for another episode of PHCPPros live here at the AHR Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining me today is Aaron Markward from ThermOmegaTech. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Thanks for taking time to speak to me this afternoon. Why don't we begin with a little bit about yourself. Tell me what you do for ThermOmegaTech.
So I'm the commercial plumbing sales manager for ThermOmegaTech. So what I do, I'm tasked with the responsibility of working with our rep channel. So we sell exclusively through reps, and what I do is I set goals for them, I travel with them, I explain the products to our engineering and contracting customers.
Okay, and so when it comes to explaining to your customers, do you do a lot of training and development type of classes related to that, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have presentations geared around all of our products. My specialty product would be the circuit solver.
Okay.
And what I do is I go around and do these presentations for the engineers, contractors, to educate them on a way to better balance their systems, their domestic hot water systems, because it is an extremely difficult thing to do. What's done typically in the industry is manually balancing these systems, and it's just not, it's not working, it's not modern. Thermostatically balancing is becoming much more, it's becoming more focused on in the industry.
Okay, great. So tell me a little bit about ThermOmegaTech and why their specialty. How about that?
So ThermOmegaTech is a thermostatic valve company in general. So pretty much all of our products are based around the same technology. They open and close based on temperature, these valves. We have 3 different sectors, let's call them. We have industrial, A&D, and commercial plumbing.
Okay.
And all of these are going to be what makes up ThermOmegaTech.
Okay.
And these products will basically provide solutions for, like I said before, the industrial, commercial plumbing, and aerospace and defense communities in very simple and easy ways.
Okay, so a newbie like myself, as you are aware, I explained that I'm new to the industry. Could you explain to me a little bit about your products and why they're important?
Yeah, so the product that I focus on that I could tell you the most about would be the circuit solver. So what the circuit solver does is takes an age-old problem of balancing these domestic hot water systems and turns it on its head, because what it does is it maintains temperature throughout your building at all times with no issues, where manual balancing valves, they have a lot of issues.
Okay.
The path of least resistance is the thing that we're trying to account for when we balance these systems.
Okay.
And there's no human error with the circuit solver, whereas with manual balancing valves, they have to be adjusted correctly, and it's very specific, and they're not dynamic. There's conditions that are constantly changing in these buildings. And with the circuit solver, it will automatically balance the system based on temperature. So the valve opens when hot water is needed and closes when it's satisfied with hot water.
So it's automatically controlled by the temperature of the water, and no need to adjust, make any adjustments.
Yeah. So it's going to, like I said, close off when it's at temperature, maintaining the temperature for the fixtures, giving it instant hot water, and then open up when it needs hot water. So yeah, automatically.
All right. Well, as you know, we've gone through quite a few changes in the last few years from the pandemic, but for the plumbing industry overall, what kind of changes have you observed over the last 5 years? I mean, going into the pandemic, going through the pandemic, trying to get out of the pandemic?
That's a great question. So it's many-folded. So I've noticed that we've become a little bit more flexible in the plumbing industry, whereas we've been rigid before. We're not set in our ways as much as we were. A lot of technology is coming out, and it's being adopted pretty quickly. Whereas 8 years ago, when Circuit Solver came out, it took a lot of work from our reps, our representatives, and getting into the engineering community and letting them know this is what this valve does, and getting them to change their thought process on the way it's done, because it's never been done this way before. I think we've really adopted, even in the past 3 years, a lot more of that technology.
And what do you think motivated this change, this flexibility?
So COVID did actually have an impact. It obviously had an impact on the world. It had an impact on individuals at a higher level, I'm sure. But COVID gave us the idea that we need to be adaptable. So we're not going to offices as much anymore. We have to be able to meet with our different various sectors in our companies and stuff. So what we have to do is we have to adapt. We have to start going on Zoom meetings, Teams calls. So I think a big portion of the adaptability came from the fact that COVID does exist.
Well, there is a benefit then. That's that's the light at the end of the tunnel, you know, if we can continue with that flexibility. What role do you think ThermOmegaTech and Circuit Solver has played from this renaissance, this change with flexibility and adopting newer technologies?
It's another good question. So I think that ThermOmegaTech is it is a good paver of the way, because our technology hasn't been adopted. So it hasn't been adopted easily in the beginning. It's now very much adopted and is probably the standard in balancing. But I would say it took so long, and the persistence that we showed, and the fact that people now know our name, and they know that we had a product that 8 years ago nobody knew about, and now people know us. I think that really showed that, you know, the adaptability was needed, and that people are willing to change, and making these new innovative products is something that's going to force the change too.
Wow, that's great. Do you think, okay, we talked a little bit about how the COVID pandemic, and how do you think the pandemic as a whole, we talked about how it's impacted your company becoming more flexible, but how has it impacted the industry as a whole?
The industry as a whole, so it's certainly been hard to get parts everywhere. Everyone's lead times for everything has just been substantial, and supply of things have just, it's hard to get stuff right now for anyone. And I think, again, it comes down to what are we willing to do to help each other? We see that people are in need, and we're willing to help each other, be adaptable, overcome this together.
So, like, could you provide me an example of how you guys have helped each other to be more adaptable?
So it's more in a general sense. So we have partners that we work with that will help us source new products that we need. If they can't provide us with the product, they're very, very willing to be flexible and say, well, we know our competitor has this product over here, and we can help you get this now. So it's more of, you know, people being people, you know, being genuine people, you know.
Well, that's wonderful, wonderful. And can you talk about the opportunities that have arisen for your company because of the pandemic?
So one big thing that has shown light, these buildings that are non-occupied for a long time, office buildings, anything that has been affected by COVID, you know, the occupancy is going down. It's showing all of the weaknesses in the balancing systems, because now we go back in and we see that there's been stagnant water in certain legs of these branches, and we see that waterborne pathogens are created because of the stagnant water. So we've recognized this. The pandemic basically shone a light on it, and it shows that we do need to change, and it's helped us in that sense. And it also shed light on the fact that cold water recirculation is now a big push for us. So we think that recirculating hot water gives us temperature, gives us the ability to kill Legionella. With cold water, you want to keep it under 68 degrees. So now we know we want to keep water under 68 degrees, make sure we're recirculating it and killing Legionella and ensuring it never grows, really. And that's all come to light realistically because of the pandemic.
Wow, that's great. And have you seen, I guess, like, talk to me about your newest and latest and greatest product, the Circuit Solver Union Cold Water Balancing Valve?
Yeah, so that's when I mentioned the cold water needs to be recirculated, or there is a need for recirculated cold water. We've created essentially a valve, our circuit solver, that works the opposite of our current circuit solver.
Yeah.
So our current circuit solver closes on hot temperature and opens on cold temperature, where this valve would close on cold temperature and open on hot temperature. So the reason for this is it's going to balance a recirculation system for cold water. Cold water, you want to maintain it below 68 degrees to ensure it doesn't grow Legionella, and it needs to be balanced the same way a hot water system needs to be balanced. So it'll close off when it gets to 65-ish degrees, let's call it, and force water onto the next path of least resistance, and keep doing that throughout the system and ensure that all of the water in the system is at an appropriate temperature, 65 degrees.
Okay, so, and could you tell us a little bit, I may jump back and forth again, so a little bit about what to expect from you at AHR today at the show.
Yeah, so that cold water balancing valve that I mentioned was actually released today.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I know that.
So we are displaying it in a grand fashion, I'd call it. We have a water feature where we're showing that the water will, we have pumps connected to our circuit solver that are shooting up water essentially, and when water gets to a temperature above 68 degrees, it'll close off, and that's visually, you're able to see that. And we'll turn on the cold water then and allow cold water to get to this valve, and it'll actually close off at that point. So it demonstrates how the circuit solver works, and it's a pretty interesting display.
So I guess everyone should stop by your booth if you're here.
Yes,
right?
Everyone stop by booth N9137. We're displaying all of our circuit solver products, as well as the circuit solver cold water balancing valve, which just came out today.
Yeah. So, and I know I jumped the gun a little bit about touting where to go, but the explanation on how we can see the circuit solver water, your new Union cold water balancing valve live in action, was too good to not ask about the where you have to go to see it. Do you think, where do you think the industry is headed in terms, what sort of trends are going to be impacting the plumbing industry in the next few years?
Yeah, so I think data is very big in the plumbing industry now. So seeing what's happening in these systems is more important to people now than ever, especially because we have the equipment to do this. So I would say the plumbing industry is moving towards the data, and what they're seeing is, you can see with mixing valves, digital mixing valves, VFD pumps, all these different types of equipment in the plumbing systems, they now have the ability to give feedback on a building information system, building management system, and that's coming forward in the plumbing industry, in my opinion.
Right. And how do you think this is going to benefit the plumbing industry as a whole?
So it gives you just full insight into what's happening in your system. You know what the temperatures are in your fixtures. You know what the pressure throughout your system is. It helps you troubleshoot. So it gives you so much information that's valuable, and it's worth the cost. And I think that's where we were kind of backing off in the beginning, but now I think it's somewhere that we're actually moving towards.
And what do you think motivated this push toward building management systems and adapting plumbing technology to be more accessible to operators and engineers?
Yeah,
you know?
I think, I can't say it's 100% COVID, but once again, I think that does give you a push, because during COVID, you don't know what's happening in your system when you're shutting these buildings down, and that becomes detrimental to the system, because now you have to do a full-on repair sometimes. Sometimes you don't even know what's wrong. So it takes, COVID's one instance, and then we are becoming a little bit more accepting of new technologies in the plumbing industry. So it's twofold there. So I think we're more willing, we're understanding that things need to change at some point, and it's going in the right direction. So why not change soon rather than later?
That's great. So tell me a little bit more about what PHCPPros can expect from your company in the coming year.
Yeah, so we have a lot coming, some big things. 2022, we just released this circuit solver cold water valve for cold water balancing. We also have a thermal disinfection valve coming out, which we had a sanitary flush, which is being renamed to our thermal disinfection valve. That's for high temperature disinfections for cold water systems, which kill Legionella. And we're working on a lot of stuff that I'm pretty excited about that could potentially come out in 2023.
Okay, well thank you. I look forward to hearing the news.
Yeah.
Again, tell our viewers where we can visit you here at the show.
Yeah. So booth N9137, and visit us at circuitsolver.com, please, too. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Aaron, for your time.
Yeah.
And everyone else, I thank you for joining us, and we will see you in a few minutes. Have a great day.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Steve Smith, editor of PHC News, coming again live at our booth here at AHR Expo. This is our last interview of the morning of today, and we'll be back tomorrow. I'll go over that a little later at the close of the interview. But our last interview is maybe our best interview, I bet. Alex Boll, Director of Product Marketing at Milwaukee Tool. Alex, thanks for coming and having us pick your brain a little bit. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your career at Milwaukee to start?
Sure, yeah. So I lead a team within product management group at Milwaukee Tool that is really focused on new product development, shaping the future of what Milwaukee's going to work on next, but really laser focused on solutions for the plumbing and HVAC trades.
Okay. And I know you have a few new products at your booth here at AHR. We'll talk about those, but from talking to you beforehand, before we went live, I think you want to talk about trends overall, some big picture stuff. So why don't you tell us, what are you hearing about from contractors and about what they want to see from your company?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it goes a long way to understand some of the innovation Milwaukee's bringing in our booth this week, to understand where some of that thought process is coming from.
Yeah.
So when we go out and talk to some of the men and women across the trades, we continue to hear this focus on working safer and working more productively. You know, with the shortage of skilled labor across the trades, contractors are constantly asking themselves how they can do more with less.
Right.
And so when you see that play out in some of the Milwaukee solutions, you'll see they're really laser focused on either productivity, like our Force Logic press solutions, or on that safety piece with some of our personal protective equipment and some of our safety solutions.
Okay. So how have some of these trends that you hear about, you mentioned some products.
Sure.
But how does it all work to get these products to market?
Yeah.
It's one thing to talk, it's another thing to, here's an actual tool.
Yeah,
that takes a while.
Absolutely, yeah. And some of that, focus on productivity is actually core to our product development process we've established at Milwaukee. So for us, what it means to be focused on productivity and to be innovative, I think innovation can sometimes be this corporate buzzword that a lot of companies will say they're innovative.
Right.
But for us, it's how you look at problem solving. And it's beyond just looking at a tool that exists today and asking yourself, how can that tool do its function faster? For us, focus on productivity is really about looking at the problems that exist themselves on the job site from start to finish, looking at them holistically. What does the transportation to the site look like, setup, cleanup, all of those things, and thinking about that ground up philosophy in our solutions.
Yeah, okay. Now, I think one of the things that's safe to say that your company's pretty well known for is cutting the cord.
Yes.
Are there, it seems like you've cut a lot of cords.
Yes.
Are there other cords to be cut?
Absolutely. I think we continue to push the limits of technology, with our batteries, motors, electronics, and not only continue to replace cords, we continue to replace pneumatics. Next frontier continues to be to replace even gas machines.
Yes.
You've probably heard of some of our MX Fuel lineup of products, for instance. And for us, when you think about, we've been converting some of those handheld gas solutions already with our M18 line.
Yeah.
But you hear in the news even companies talking about, like the Teslas of the world, taking on automotive with some of the lithium-ion solutions.
Yeah.
For us, MX Fuel is about everything in between. All those equipment solutions in between are now within our view to be able to innovate.
Okay. Are there any broad categories that you still haven't tackled? I mean, it seems like you are always innovating. We talked about the product symposium I've been to many years now, and there's always hundreds of new things. Are you running out of ideas or what?
Never. So we're going to continue to push the limits. You know, there's certainly new categories of products for us, but kind of the magic in the sauce for us is, you may say, what other tool categories are out there? We don't define our opportunities by the tool categories. We define them by the problems that exist on the site.
Right.
And so for us to go out and just be with the trades and understand the challenges they go through every day, that's really what inspires product development at Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'd like to think a little bit about the problems that exist at a job site. I mean, we talked about labor shortage. That's obviously a huge issue.
Yeah.
But you know, when you go to a job site or look at things or hear about job sites, I mean, what are the problems?
Yeah.
What do you hear?
So, great example of this, our Streamline ACR press jaws. So, when we went out and did research with HVAC contractors, for instance, brazing a lot of copper, there's all kinds of challenges with brazing, right? You have open flame in tight spaces, all of the consumables around that application, and the amount of time it takes to make one connection. For us, when you can look at that problem holistically and say, how can we really change the process? You know, we didn't just make a better torch tip to braze faster.
Right.
We replaced that solution entirely with our Force Logic press tool.
Right. It's not enough just to make a tool. It's the whole system and process that you really look at.
Exactly.
And that's why you do such a good job, I think, with the tools.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure other manufacturers perhaps do this, but one of the things that does make you, I think, unique to me is that you partner with other manufacturers. I think the first product symposium I went to, there was something new from Uponor, or maybe a newer, improved version, I think. I know you're working with, I guess, Mueller and ACR. What goes into picking those outsiders, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. So we partner with other leaders in the space as well, where, you know, the leaders at contractors are coming to them and asking them to help them solve their problems as well. But really, partnering with a lot of the fitting manufacturers for us is about being able to widen the purview of those problems, right? So it brings another thing into the equation that we can really challenge the status quo of what the process looks like today. And if you can innovate on the fitting or the pipe in parallel with the tooling solution, like we did on our Streamline ACR jaws, it's all the better for the contractor.
Yeah, okay. Can you go through some recent partnerships, I guess? You mentioned this one, but and I'm familiar with Uponor. I think maybe you did something with Vigo a while ago. I mean, what?
So yeah, beyond the Mueller Streamline ACR solutions, we've also launched 2 new recent PEX expansion solutions as well. So building on our relationship with Uponor that we've had for years now.
Okay.
Early last year, we launched the M12 Fuel PEX expansion solution, and then late last year followed with the M18 Fuel 2-inch PEX expander, which just continue to push the limits of productivity, not only in the speed at which you can expand PEX, but also focused on the seal times so that that contractor can get to the pressure test, get off the site, get to the next job even faster.
Okay. And I'm just kind of curious about the partnerships. I mean, the nature of them. Is this common practice? I mean, I'm not really familiar with everything that goes into tool making.
Sure.
But it does seem to be an interesting component of your company. Is this one thing you think of that makes you guys stand apart from the others?
Yeah, I think it's certainly a challenge to be able to align multiple manufacturers to come to a solution for end users. So I think that definitely is something we pride ourselves on in being able to take on those problems more holistically, even if it is a little bit more difficult to try to work with some of the fitting manufacturers as well, you know. But I think at the end of the day, it's really about doing the best thing for that end user and bringing the pipe or the fitting or whatever it may be into that equation is what we viewed was most important.
Okay. Well, Alex, let's switch gears a little bit. I know you have a booth here, N8117, 8117, N8117. You mentioned already the Streamline ACR press jaws is new, but I think you've got a couple others that maybe you want to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so in addition to the new ACR jaws, we've also got our 1-inch IPS jaw, which really pushes the top end capability of our M12 Force Logic press tool and right sizes that for that residential and light commercial end user. Now, being able to do all the water, all the gas work, all on that same tool. You know, we've got a ton of great solutions. In addition to that, we've got our new M18 Fuel compact threader, which will be the industry's lightest cordless threading solution, in combination with our new forged aluminum compact die heads to really deliver a much more portable solution for that installer. And then lastly is the tripod chain vise, which is a really interesting product, I think, for us, and something we're really proud of. I think it really challenges the ability to solve problems on the site. You know, the pipe vices for years have been sort of the center of the ecosystem on a job site, and I think it really is a testament to Milwaukee's ability to innovate, to say, how can we make that product even better? And so we've taken that product and with our tripod chain vise, now able to fold it flat, store it more compactly in the back of a van, in a tool job box, but also make it much easier to transport, carry a briefcase style. And then in addition to that, actually designed in the ability to adjust the tension in the deck. So over the life of the product, you can actually take out the wobble from the deck, which is really what defines the life of that product, is the ability to make a square cut or whatever operation you're performing on that chain vise. We've now given you that stability over the life of the product.
Okay, interesting. That sounds like a product that it pays to see.
Absolutely.
And you have it on display, obviously.
Absolutely.
And
Come
here.
stop by. Yeah, definitely. Once you get your hands on it, see how easy it is to move, how easy it is to deploy. It's really something to see.
All right. So, anything else new or newer at least? I mean, we didn't get together last year, so last year would be still new.
Yeah. Well, I think we'd probably have a half-hour video on our hands at least if we wanted to go through all the new solutions.
We got time. We're last of the list here.
Absolutely.
So, plenty of new product.
Tons. Yes.
Okay. And the year ahead, we're just starting, you know, we're a month in, or almost a month over into the new year. What else was happening for the company in 2022?
Yeah, it's, the new product development for us never sleeps. I think you're going to continue to see us, you know, push our core battery platforms, push technology on our M12, M18, and MX fuel systems. We're going to continue to launch productivity and game-changing solutions like our Force Logic products. And I think you're actually going to see us, too, continue to push into making our solutions smarter every day as well, building out our one-key connected tool platform and inventory management software to really integrate our solutions into the software systems that contractors use to run their businesses every day.
Okay, can you talk about that a little bit more? The one key solution was, I think, pretty new. The first symposium I went to maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So what's going on? What's happened lately with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned the software and integrating that. So that's in the works.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I think when OneKey first started, you know, there was a lot of attraction to the trackability of tools and the ability to know where your assets are. And that's certainly one great piece of OneKey, but I think it's, for us, something much larger than just knowing where tools are. It's become primarily an inventory management system to know where has a contractor sent their tools to, how efficiently are those being used, and be able to really optimize getting the right tools on the site at the right time to shrink schedules and become more profitable as a business.
Right. Again, that whole system approach, it's not just a wrench.
Yeah.
It's everything that goes into getting that wrench in the hands at that time, at that point in time.
Absolutely. You know, and when you talk about enabling contractors to be more productive and eliminating waste, a lot of that, certainly we focus on when the contractor's actively working on the site, but a lot of that waste is exactly those things, material movement and inventory management. And so we're looking at how we can help those contractors holistically.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about the corporate culture at Milwaukee? Because as I mentioned to you before we started, you know, I think I went to the first product symposium about 8 years ago, and I was really impressed. I mean, if anyone hasn't gone to that, it's basically a series of product presentations by your product managers, and these people were perfectly rehearsed. I mean, I'd be tripping over my words after the second sentence, and that just doesn't happen. It was just, and it was flawless, and it continues to be. How does that get created? You're doing something right. What is it?
Yeah, I think our new product symposium is certainly a showcase of the passion of our people, right? And I think it's a cool experience certainly to walk through the Milwaukee Tool booth and see all the innovation as it has come to the market and the tools that we launch. But it really starts with the people. And you don't get that innovation without the passion that our people have, the relentless pursuit of innovation. They're absolutely obsessed with solving the problems of those contractors. So to me, the secret of the whole sauce for Milwaukee is the people and that culture.
So how do you pick those people? You know.
Well, you know,
I mean, it's not luck.
Yeah, and you know, I think picking the people is just one part of the equation.
Yeah.
For us, it's about developing as well and
Right.
empowering leaders within
Right.
our culture.
Right.
And I think that's something that Milwaukee does really uniquely.
Yeah.
Is we expect the best from our people, and we empower them to really take hold and control their own destiny. And I think that really shows itself in the products that come to market
Definitely
as well.
does, yeah. And every time I look, you're growing.
Absolutely.
I mean, no sooner do you build something than you need more room.
Absolutely.
And I think you're working on a campus downtown Milwaukee, another facility downtown Chicago. So it never stops.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there anything else I don't know about that's coming this year?
There's
far
probably
as growing?
things that I don't know about in terms of growing because we're reacting as fast as we can, you know. But yeah, I think the growth is just a testament to the model, starting with the people, ending up in the products, and really driving innovation.
Yeah, it is amazing. Well, any final words of wisdom for us before we wrap it up?
No, I think for those that are at the show, definitely stop by the Milwaukee booth, get to see everything that we didn't get to talk about today. There's all kinds of new innovation beyond just the handful of solutions we've talked about.
Sure.
And stay tuned throughout the year for all the new products Milwaukee will be continuing to bring to market.
And in the meantime, if I'm a contractor and I want to know more about you or your company, what's the best way to
absolutely. Stop on MilwaukeeTool.com. We're continuously posting our new products, the newest innovation. Follow us on the social media channels as well.
You're going to YouTube videos. I know.
Yeah, you'll get to see contractors firsthand showing how these solutions can really help them day to day.
All right. Well, fair enough. Well, Alex, thanks for coming. We saved the best for best for last. And you are again at booth N8117.
Yes.
I think we got a booth tour there scheduled maybe tomorrow.
Awesome.
We'll take a look.
We'll be glad to have you.
Well, thanks again for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex. And everybody watching, we're going to take, it's the end of the day for us, I guess. This is the last interview, but we are going to be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and we've got solid interviews from 10 to 2 every half hour, basically. So have a good day for the rest of the show, and stay tuned and come back tomorrow, and we'll see you at 10 a.m. Pacific time, right? Very good.
Awesome. Thanks,
Alex. Thank you, everybody.